Welcome back to your somatic weather map. Okay, I'm new at this YouTube stuff, guys, so I brought you a little closer this time. I was watching the video from last week and I didn't feel like we were sitting next to each other with an appropriate amount of distance, but cozy enough to call each other friends on a couch. So we're going to try different angles. I like my backdrop. I'm going to try not to blend in with my clothes, but we're not here to talk about all of that. I'm here to walk you through the somatic weather map for the week of January 19th to the 25th. Remember, this is a collective astrology forecast. So this is the energy that is going to impact all of us. However, that impact is going to vary based on the individuality of your chart. So this is energy that all of us are going to be swimming through together, but the intensity of the energy that you feel in the upcoming week, which frankly, based on all of the upcoming transits, I don't know how any of us are going to skirt by without feeling most of this, but I digress. The energy of the upcoming week impacts us all in a different way based on how these transits are hitting our personal chart. So this is a collective energy reflection. And remember, energy is felt and processed through the physical body. There are a few layers that we process these energetic transits. You don't have to believe in astrology for it to impact you. And the body is part of what metabolizes the energy that we all collectively experience when major astrological happenings are occurring. And we have been in a time period where that has been a rather consistent theme. So if you have been up to this point feeling tired for no reason, crying in grocery store parking lots, feeling like your skin is buzzing. This was a big one for me this past week with invisible pressure. Same. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're just like the rest of us in it. We have got six. I want to emphasize the significance of that. We have six major planetary shifts happening this week, and your body tends to read them in a preemptive capacity. When it comes to full moons, I can use this as an example. I tend to feel the full moon 2 to 3 days before the full moon peaks or climaxes, right? By the time the full moon's here, I've processed it physically. Like I've felt the symptoms, I've dealt with the emotions, and I am able to, at least in some part, enjoy the full moon. Most of us don't pay attention to our body's communication. So we miss the fact that we're processing the collective energy and oftentimes only recognize it in reverse. My goal with these astrology wellness forecasts, these somatic weather maps, is to get you into the habit of paying attention, not hyper vigilant, but just aware of what's going on in the subtle bodies that exist within you. So again, we have 6 major planetary shifts coming up this week, and your body is likely already reading them like a braille map before your mind ever catches up, if it catches up at all. And your nervous system is literally processing a new code. This isn't a normal what's your sign vibe check. Okay. This is a nervous system, somatically rooted forecast, a real-time energetic report for the people who live in real bodies and feel everything. So let's get into the essential overarching feel of the week. And then I'm going to talk about rising signs again. And I'm going to encourage you to listen for your rising sign, which is the first house on your zodiac wheel, the sign that governs that first house. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, listen for your moon sign as well too. So the vibe for this upcoming week, the overarching energetic influence of this week is permission to mutate. This week isn't chaos, it's clarity arriving through discomfort. So you can expect unexpected fatigue and emotional flare-ups. You can expect skin issues, gut dysfunction, and weirdness. Hormonal spikes. Bless all of us that are walking into our period in the upcoming week. Thank you for purging for the collective. Big insights that feel exciting as well as terrifying, and a clear pull towards what's real, even if it's messy. Isn't life lived in the magical, messy parts? You're not meant to keep going at the same pace. Your body knows what it needs in order to shift. And before your business plan takes over, before your relationships take over, before your to-do lists take over, your body is asking you to listen to it and take its guidance seriously. So let's talk about how that shows up in individual charts. Remember, I'm reading for the rising sign. If you're not sure what your rising sign is, I will list astro-seek.com is a free birth chart calculator that you can utilize. It is really important to have your time of birth. However, if you don't have the exact time, they do offer an option for you to say no known birth time. This will potentially skew sign and planetary placements in your chart, but it does tend to give you an idea. Okay. So astro-seek.com is where you can go to discover your rising sign, as well as get clarity on what your moon sign is. So let's talk about Aries rising. Aries is the zodiac infant. It's the first sign of the zodiac. My Aries risings, your career, your visibility, or your business is putting pressure on your nervous system. Maybe not from what you're doing, but from how you're holding it all. And you might wake up ready to run the world and by noon want to disappear into your hoodie. Okay. I'm going to encourage you in the upcoming week to be brave and cancel one task that your body absolutely dreads. Do not allow your body to be overrun by your mind. Do not allow logic to override intuition. Choose one task that you somatically clench when you know you have to do it or you're preparing to do it, and allow your body to guide that cancellation. Power doesn't mean performance, and your clarity is still valid even if you're tired. Okay. So Aries rising, you're being asked to just slow it down. Aries don't tend to like to slow down. You're ruled by Mars. It's all about action and moving forward and implementation. And you're being asked to slow down, to take inventory, and to pull your energy back from places that really aren't serving all parts of you. One decision at a time. Okay. Then we have Taurus rising. Taurus, you guys, you're very routine driven and oriented, resource focused. My son is a Taurus. You all are very snacky and love your food. I mean, I have a lot of Taurians in my life. You're stubborn as hell too, but the future is knocking for you guys. Your body's buffering. Okay. Maybe it's about a program you want to launch, or a trip you're craving to take, or the big shift you know is coming, but you're not sure when. But your gut, it's hesitant. There's something that's knotting your insides up and you can't fully put your finger on it to name it. The ask of you this week is to let your body set the pace of your expansion. Stretch your hamstrings. Breathe deep. You're allowed to move forward without rushing. Now, this is interesting to me because typically Taurians don't rush. Part of their presentation, especially in medical astrology, is stagnation, steadiness, even a bit slow. So the fact that there are elements in your life that are putting pressure upon you that makes you feel as though you need to go in an urgent capacity is something to pay attention to. And this is your invitation to remember that you're allowed to move forward without rushing. Embody the thing that you are so very good at embodying outside of the pressure that's being put on you. Savory. That's the pace most of you take. Gemini risings. Oh, my sweet Geminis, as I said in the last week's forecast, have such a special place in my heart. I have a Gemini stellium in my chart. And this is where my sun lives, my actual sun, right? So obviously, this upcoming week is about emotional detoxification. Your nervous system is metabolizing grief. Perhaps grief that you can name and know its association, or grief that doesn't make full sense to you. You're governed by the sign Mercury. And Mercury is all about communication, but it's also about the nervous system. And oftentimes when there's prominent Gemini in the chart, we do get an element of collective processing just because of that Mercury oversight, that Mercury influence. That's the word that I'm looking for. And this upcoming week, you are emotionally detoxing. Like I said, you're going to be metabolizing grief. You're going to be metabolizing endings. You're going to be metabolizing all of the stuff, if you will, you thought you had already worked through. Damn, I hate it when that happens. And isn't life such a spiral in that way that we think we've moved on from something and we're brought back to the very same trigger, if you will, or situation? We're just coming at it from a different angle. That's what evolution looks like for all of us. We don't ever get away from things fully or completely. We just create further distance between them and ourselves based on the resonance, based on our capacity to process at different levels and integrate the elements of information that we are being asked to integrate, right? So gut sensitivity could be something that you experience this week. Sleep chaos may spike. So the invitation for you is more so a remembrance than a taking action. This isn't regression, it's energetic pruning. Okay. Cry if you need to. I know it's very easy for you to logicize things and want to, in a strategic, cerebral capacity, work through things. And I'm going to encourage you to allow your somatic body to process everything that you're metabolizing. So cry if you need to. Journal if it helps. Remember, rest is a valid task. Then we have our Cancer risings. Cancer, right? Hard exterior with like a soft, ooey gooey candy inside, if you will. So Cancer, all about home, all about hearth, all about family relationships. You know, in medical astrology, Cancer governs the breast, the chest, obviously the stomach, and emotionally derived cravings. So Cancer risings, your relationships are repatterning quietly but profoundly. And this can be really disruptive to those of you with a Cancer rising because relationships are such a major reflection for you. So anytime you're in close or right relationship with somebody and the closeness dissipates, the intimacy doesn't seem to be there. You know, we see things start to unwind in a way that was unexpected. This can be incredibly disorienting for you. So remember, relationships right now are repatterning quietly perhaps, but profoundly. And you're going to feel this. You're going to feel this in your heart. You're going to feel this in your throat. You may even feel this in your lower belly. Your digestive tract, namely your stomach, is how you process emotions in life. So if you're Cancer rising and this week you're like, my digestion is totally off, remember that you are only capable of digesting food to the degree that you are capable of digesting your emotional life or the aspects of your life that are emotional. So if things feel off with digestion, I'm going to encourage you to take pause. It's okay. It's okay to take off for a few meals and give your body the opportunity to fast while you process, because tending to your emotional garden is only going to amplify your body's ability to actually digest the physical nourishment you're attempting to provide to it. And remember, not everyone gets to go with you. A reason, a season, a lifetime. As cliche as it sounds, the older I get, if you will, the more I see that as being a genuine lesson of this life. Not everybody gets to go and grow alongside us. So the invitation for you in this upcoming week is, what makes your shoulders drop? Pay attention to that. Lean into that. Embody more of that. Who makes them tense? What makes your shoulders drop? Where makes your shoulders drop? Who makes your shoulders drop? Who makes them? What makes them? Where makes them tense? Okay. Let that be enough data as you navigate this week. Put yourself into the mode of observation and take note of what you're observing. Leo risings. I see all you Leo risings. This is my rising sign. What a sign to have in the first house, guys. So let's talk about what our upcoming week is going to look like from an energetic perspective and how we're really metabolizing that and it's showing up in our life. So Leo risings, your daily life, your routines, your habits, your workflows, if you will, might suddenly feel unbearable. This is really not what I want to be telling you. This is really not what I want to hear. Not because it's wrong, but because you've outgrown the structure. I don't know if any other Leo risings have felt like they have been in a continuous molting phase in their life. Leo risings oftentimes have Capricorn 6th house, a Virgo 2nd house, a Cancer 12th house, right? An Aries 9th house. Not sure where your moon is, but mine is Aries. And Leo risings, I have felt like we have been in this perpetual molting phase, this perpetual shedding phase for quite some time now. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired. I'm ready to move on to a breezier set of transits within my chart. So remember, this upcoming week, if you feel like you're crawling out of your skin within the context of your day-to-day routines and it's becoming unbearable, what you're doing isn't wrong. You've just outgrown the structure and it's time to reevaluate and restructure. So how can we do this in a way that doesn't completely saturate our nervous system or flood our emotional bandwidth? Change one small thing this week to support your nervous system, not your productivity. This is a fire sign. It's a strong constitution in the first house. We process everything through our heart. So if you notice yourself slouching over, if you notice upper thoracic spine tension, if you notice heartache, these are all forms of feedback from your body that something is off and to tune in and pay attention. It's an invitation to tune in and pay attention. So one small thing, can you commit to one small thing in this week to support your immune system or your nervous system, which supports your immune system, not your productivity? Try soft lighting. It's the best. You'll never go back. Block your calendar. Another thing that I am so grateful that I have learned how to do. Relinquish that control, babe. Relinquish that control and reclaim your rhythm. Okay. Virgo Rising. So your creative Virgos, your small intestine is ruled by this sign. Okay. So chronic stress is oftentimes going to show up as digestive stress, not being able to digest life, inconsistent appetite, gut distension, achiness, if you will. Virgo very much rules the small intestine. So your creative energy in the upcoming week is trying to bypass your perfectionism. Please let it. Oh my God, perfectionism is like the kryptonite for Virgos. And so is attention to detail. It's beautiful to be detailed, but sometimes that detail ends up overriding and ruling over so many aspects of your life that it's crippling. If you feel tension in your pelvis, if you are recognizing hormonal swings, if you are seeing bursts of inspiration bubble to the surface that scare you, that is your body attempting to tell you that it's ready to make something real. So the invitation this week is obviously very creatively derived. Virgo Risings, I want to see you draw. I want to see you dance. I want to see you embody joy as medicine. Your nervous system needs play to remember it's safe. And a lot of the times, the way with which you operate within the realm of detail orientation and perfectionism puts the fire out on the flame that is joy, and it eradicates play from your life. And we know that just as much as good sleep and hydrating appropriately is nourishment, so is joy and play. Okay. Libra risings for this upcoming week. Home might feel more tender than usual. You guys are the bicycle for two. You want to see harmony and balance and justice. Sometimes you do it at your own expense. So this upcoming week, home might feel a little bit more tender than you're used to. You could potentially be questioning where you belong. What an existential question. Or realizing that safety for you means more than a location. It means the people you surround yourself with. It means the blanket you use at night in order to wind down before bed. So the invitation for you in the upcoming week is to add softness to your physical space. So the blankets I just mentioned, cozy, oversized, weighted are some of my favorite. Warm food, silence. Silence is beautiful. Silence is medicine. And oftentimes when you allow yourself to sit in silence, you recognize that it's not all that silent. Make home feel like co-regulation, not expectation. Scorpio risings. Scorpio, you rule detoxification and reproduction in medical astrology, right? Talk about a deep sign that has deep somatic roots. So Scorpio risings, in the upcoming week, your voice is shedding a skin. Okay, you might feel unable to withstand or participate in small talk. You guys don't do small talk anyway, but that is going to be amplified in the upcoming week. You may even be suddenly repulsed by your old messaging between friends, with coworkers, with loved ones. If you're a business owner, this is something to pay attention to. Your invitation is to speak differently. You're being asked to look at the way with which you speak and potentially embody a new way of showing up through your words. You're being asked to say what you mean out loud. You're being asked to say what you're thinking out loud, even if it's in private at first. That's okay. That counts. Your nervous system cannot keep pretending, and this is not a sign that will allow you to do so. Scorpio risings, you're being asked to step into a more authentic expression of what's going on in your inner world. Okay. Sagittarius risings. Money isn't just numbers. Money, money, money. That's what we're focusing on this week with our Sagittarius risings. It's nervous system safety. Money is not just a number, it's nervous system safety. And if your body clenches when you look at your pricing, your bank account, your income, your schedule, that's not mindset. That's a signal. That's something we want to pay attention to. So the invitation for you in the upcoming week is to choose one tiny thing that makes money feel nourishing instead of terrifying. A new way to invoice, a guilt-free spend. Your body's going to know when you choose to do this. And I would take it a step further and I would invite you to look at what has gotten you to a place and a space where your nervous system looks at any of these aspects of your life and screams lack of safety. Where have you overridden a change that needs to take root in order for a different version of you to finally step forward where money can show up in a different capacity? Capricorn risings, we are moving out of your season and into a new season, a new house, a new season, a new sign. So Capricorn rising, as goes with we are getting to the climactic point of the sun ruling in your sign, you are molting. The old way you've identified success, the old way you've identified responsibility or pressure is really starting to burn off. Your body is likely tired or wired. They go together and oftentimes represent the same thing with the effort of becoming someone new. What would it look like for you to just be who you are in the moment today without having to strive for the next excellent version of who you're meant to become? So the invitation for you is to do less, to speak kindly to yourself first and then to others, to let your body call the shot for once. Let the logic and the strategy sit to the side. You'll build more power from rest than from grinding. Capricorn embodies that CEO energy. Everything is it makes sense. It has to make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, that can be very triggering for a Capricorn. So the invitation this week is going to be something that's going to ask you to find your growth edges, lean up against them, and then potentially expand over top of them. Aquarius, we are stepping into your season. It is coming. So we have almost made our way through a full zodiac cycle. Obviously, Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac, and we step into a new zodiac cycle in March with the reintroduction of the sun in Aries. But Aquarius, we're getting ready to step into your season this week. And I imagine, as per usual, pardon me, with the Aquarian energy, your subconscious is loud. You have a tendency, Aquarius, to live in your head and out of your somatic body. So some of the things that I tell people that I work with prominent Aquarius in their chart is to please walk and talk, to please walk and have a snack. The only way oftentimes prominent Aquarius gets into their body is through movement. So the rules that apply to some definitely do not apply to Aquarius when it comes to digestion and food and processing. Aquarians need the movement in order to fully process because they oftentimes or otherwise spend the majority of their lived experience in their head. So your subconscious is loud. Dreams, weird memory flashes, sudden shutdowns are all going to be a part of your presentation this week. Your system wants you in stillness, not in isolation, but it certainly wants quiet. So the invitation for you in the upcoming week is to give yourself permission to pause the input. Allow that cerebrally led behavior, like the way that you show up and you're always here and you're always processing and you're always thinking and you're always intaking, like allow that to rest. No podcasts, no screens. When you're able to just breath, a blanket, and potentially low lighting or darkness, like you really need to find yourself in as much sensory deprivation as possible in the upcoming week as we cross the threshold and we step into your season. 6 transits, everyone. Just remember that I mentioned it at the beginning. There's a lot going on in the sky this week. Pisces, last but certainly not least. Pisces, your body is speaking in group spaces, okay? You just have to listen. Energy leaks, social fatigue. We're still stepping out of the holiday season and most people have barely recovered. We are what? January 1st. We're 13 days into it. So many people are still in an energy deficit. In Pisces, it's no different for you. If anything, the deficit is probably much more comprehensive because of the way with which you tend to absorb other people in your space, the emotions in your space. Energetic boundaries are non-negotiable. How do the feet and ankles feel? How does the foundation of your life feel right now? Achy, tired, fatigued, cracking. These are things that I want you to pay attention to. These are the ways with which your somatic body speaks to you, okay? So again, energy leaks, social fatigue, visionary bursts are guiding you towards aligned community. And that's so incredibly important for such a sensitive constitution. So the question more so than the invitation for you is, do you feel energized or depleted after being seen, and allowing that to guide you into your next yes or no? So that is, again, the 12 rising signs and the overarching energetic tone of the upcoming week. I would encourage you to listen for your rising sign and then your moon and put the compounding energies together. How can you work with the energy of the moon, which is your internal world and your emotions? It's your hormonal landscape. It's your endocrine system, right? And then also couple that with your rising sign, which in medical astrology is how you process compounded chronic stress. Are we at the point where we're completely depleted and burnt out? And if so, what do we need to do to start adding dollars back into our metaphorical bank account so that we don't spend the next month, few months, year in a deficit? We want to set ourselves up for success in this season now at this point of the year in a quiet but impactful way so that we don't find ourselves in a deep energetic deficit come June, July, August, and the end of next year. So we do have a tea blend that we recommend that I recommend every week. I will put that down in the notes that go along with this video. This week's tea blend is all about a nervous system tonic. I'm recommending skull cap for tension, lemon balm for clarity. I just love the way, if you have the ability to get your hands, I should say, on some fresh lemon balm, please do it. Utilize all senses when you're doing it too, like feel the leaf, smell the fragrant, if you will, elements left on your fingers after rolling the leaf through them. It's got this beautiful bright green color, very energizing but calming at the same time. So skull cap for tension, lemon balm for clarity. Oat straw is like the grandmother in my book. Like, oat straw is the matriarch of the family. She is the common thread that oftentimes weaves all of the herbs together, deeply nourishing. Ginger for stuck energy. There are different types of ginger that you can consume. I'm going to encourage a mild dry root. Powder is going to be hot and oftentimes inflict excess heat on the constitution, so something you want to be mindful of. And then rose for heart protection. Just a small caveat with rose. Rose is part of the ivy family. Thus, if you have an allergy to poison ivy, I would encourage you to proceed with caution when it comes to rose. Steep it strong, cover it while brewing. This allows for all the volatile organic oils to maintain capacity within the steep. And then obviously 10 to 15 minutes later, pour yourself a beautiful brew with a bit of added honey. These forecasts are really all about encouraging you to look at your body and how it connects with the elements that exist outside of us and outside of the four walls of our home. These are also all about re-envisioning the way that you work with your body. Okay. Your body is not the problem, it's the compass. And when we start to position our body as our greatest ally and the only thing that can actually give us the guidance that so many of us are desperately seeking in order to feel good and anchored at home, your body is going to be your best friend. How would you feel in relationship if you were with somebody that constantly silenced you every time you started to speak up? A lot of us do that with our body. So the upcoming week is absolutely going to influence you. I have no question in my mind about it. It's just whether or not you're going to pay attention. The somatic weather is loud, okay, but it's not here to punish you. Astrology is not about prediction. It's not about punishment. It's about pattern recognition. And oftentimes these transits are all about allowing us, if we're willing, to see the illuminated patterns in our life and choose a different way of working with them, okay? The energy this week is here to teach you what kind of life your nervous system can actually hold. You can find that in your finances. You can find that in your body's capacity to function in social groups. You can find that in your body's response as you walk into work. If we just choose to pay attention to the information that we're being offered, we could start to construct a life around the feedback that we're getting that allows us to actually live in alignment with what allows us to relax into receptivity and receiving. And I don't mean this in like a watered down, woo woo spiritual way. I mean this in the most grounded, rooted way. Let me emphasize this. This is all about grounding and rooting and being realistic. So, upcoming week, go slow, be soft, track your truth. Truth is going to look different for everybody. And if this forecast landed in your gut, in your heart, or in your jaw, leave a comment. I would love to hear back from you. Is there something else that you would like to hear in these weekly forecasts? Tell me what your body is saying. Let's start a new language. Let's start to speak to each other the way that I think historically we were meant to speak to each other, through the way with which energy is illuminating and activating different parts of our body so that they can be seen and fully integrated. And if you feel compelled, share this with somebody who feels everything but doesn't always know why. We're not here to spiritually bypass symptoms. We're here to translate them. I'll see you in the shift with sass, with skullcap, and your chart in my heart. Until next week.